Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Motive to be Productive. I'm Daria, your host, and today I'll be speaking with Donna Hooshmand. Donna currently is pursuing her dual degree in mathematics and computer science from University of Oregon, which we'll ask about her in this interview. So, hi, Donna. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and speak with us. It's a pleasure having you on our show.
Happy to be here. Hi.
Welcome. So let's jump into the questions, shall we?
Sounds good.
All right. So the first question is, we would like to approach this basically on as our introduction question, and that is, what made you interested in pursuing a dual degree in mathematics and computer science?
Well, computer science and math, they're very hardly integrated to one another. I first started studying computer science, and after my math requirements were done, I guess I was too interested in the subject to just quit. So I decided to add on the other math major and continue doing a dual degree.
Because a lot of the courses are similar, right?
Yep. It's
Fantastic.
basically, yeah. People who get computer science degrees can easily get a math minor, just with the math courses they're taking for computer science. But getting a math major is more of getting to know the logistics of like proofs and theorems and like doing all of that nitty-gritty stuff.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about, where you study, your university, and the city that you live in and study.
I study at University of Oregon, which is located in Eugene. It's a very beautiful city. It has a lot of rivers, like hiking spaces, really good hiking spaces. I don't necessarily hike, but I really go to the river a lot.
I've heard it's beautiful up there in terms of the nature and the
Hmm.
things that you just said, the rivers, the
Yeah, the
mountains.
campus is gorgeous.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So something that is very interesting about you is that you just don't study these subjects in the university. You also do a lot of extracurricular activities. And, like some of them are you're a teacher assistant, TA, you're a tutor, you're doing a research, you've started your own Persian student organization, which will try to cover these subjects as we move on in this interview. But let's first start with your tutoring experience.
Mhm.
Tell us about it. Why did you decide to become a tutor and then a TA?
Well, my dad is a professor, and I guess growing up, I always knew his line of work and what he does. I was always interested in becoming a professor, but I guess I never had the hands-on experience of being a tutor. So when I came to Portland, I went to PCC for a year, Portland Community College, where I started to become a tutor. And then when I transferred to Eugene, to University of Oregon, I realized that I really like tutoring and being a TA. So I just started adding more and more as I went on. So I'm a TA, a tutor, a grader for the department. So basically, I'm trying to get all the I guess skills that I need to become a professor right now, so that later on I could just easily get the job.
It's very interesting because trying to tutor someone, you have to have the um, basically, let me see, how should I word it? In a sense, courage to and the patience to deal with students because not all students can be nice. Some can be very, aggressive in terms of their homeworks, or some people can, be not nice and untidy and
That's
procrastinate. So
completely true. Yeah.
how do you deal with this type of students?
Well, every student is different. Like, I guess a part of being a tutor or a professor or a teacher or anything is getting to know the student and what they like, what they dislike. And I guess, especially in math, some people just get it from the start. Some people don't really have a hard time getting it. So you just have to kind of realize what they like and kind of try to uh, make like do an analogy or something to make them understand it better. There are some people who just are studying the subject to pass the class. So you have to kind of try to make them interested, try to engage with them. So I guess it's challenging at times for sure. There's a lot of patience that you need, but overall, it's very, very rewarding.
I think when a student comes to you and said, well, I passed the class or I got the grade that I wanted,
Hmm.
that's when you get the most satisfaction, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There are a few students that I've had over since the beginning where I started. I guess I just kind of I'm ahead of them a few terms. So I just take the classes, I learn them, and then I tutor the same ones. And so some of the students I've been tutoring since the moment I got to Eugene, and I still tutor them every once in a while. So just seeing them grow is it's very rewarding.
And basically you all grow together. You're ahead a
Hmm.
few semesters, but you see their
Hmm.
growth as well. Um,
Exactly.
that's very fascinating. So let's move on to the next subject here, in the sense
Hmm.
that because I'm trying to cover everything. You've accomplished so much. At a young age. Tell us how old are you? Tell us how old are you?
I'm currently 19.
19. Like who does this much at the age of 19? Like that
I
really
try.
has a round of applause for you. And let's now focus on your research. So tell
Mhm.
us about your research, what you're doing, because it's very related. It was related to our fifth episode that we were doing about films and TV series, where we talked about streaming services with my co-host. And I was very
Mhm.
fascinated when I heard about your research. It clicked on my mind that it's very related, the subject. So I'm curious. Can you please share a bit about your research with us?
So my research is about the longitudinal analysis of major video streaming applications in the US, which basically means I'll be looking at the characteristics of major video streaming services and how they've changed over the years, like how the popularity has changed and whatnot. And I mean, from a computer science point of view, how they are, I guess, trying to accommodate there's so many users that they're trying to get to. I guess that's a weird sentence to say, but yeah, I this research is still in progress, so I guess there's a lot of directions that I could take this to. That was the original idea that I had, but as I'm going into the research more and more, there's so much more interesting questions to ask, so I haven't decided exactly what my thesis will be on, but it's going to be in this subject.
Okay, but what are some, just mention one or two potential, directions, so it's
Mhm.
better for everyone. It's easier for everyone to comprehend. So
Mhm.
just, yeah.
So I guess the first idea that started this was how the popularity has changed for major video streaming services between I don't know, the last maybe 5 years or so, and then overall like how much time people are spending, how the average has changed over these years, how much bytes they're using, how much that has changed over the years. There's a lot of questions to ask. Like there's um, any sort of computer science part of a network flow, you can ask about it. So I guess I haven't decided which one would be more interesting for people to read about. But for now, I'm going for the characteristics and seeing how all of those have changed. Basically, the bytes, the percentage, the time that people are allocating for it, all of that.
So I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to bring it up as a general
Mhm.
question, but feel free to answer it as a student, computer science student point of view, or as a normal person's point of view, or a regular individual's point of view. What do you think about these trends of streaming services?
Well, I think it depends on how they're being used. If it's for me, There's sometimes that even when I'm doing my homework or where I'm doing a project, I watch something on the side, like I watch Netflix on the side, and that doesn't really um, mess up with my project, I guess. But it depends on how they're being used. Like if you're using streaming services 24/7 and not studying, there's definitely
Well,
something
well,
wrong there.
that is true. That is true. But I'm asking, uh, do you think it appears that they've become a lot more popular in a general sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They've become so much more popular over the past few years, and I can definitely see that in my research as well.
Amazing. Just for fun, can you share with us maybe one or two of your favorite films or TV shows that you see on Netflix or wherever?
I this one is not on Netflix, but I really enjoyed watching Scorpion. It's about the life of Walter O'Brien. That was my favorite guilty pleasure TV show to watch. But yeah,
Yeah,
it got canceled.
it got canceled.
Yeah.
Okay, but and another one.
I don't really have other ones. I don't really watch a lot of TV.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's well, that makes sense. A person like you who does so much, shouldn't have a lot of time to watch TV. So let's move a little one step forward, and I would like to cover the Persian student organization. So,
Mhm.
from what I've heard, you and your sister Donia have started this Persian Student Association in your school.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, me and Donia founded PSA, I guess last fall. We didn't think that there would be a lot of Persians at U of O in our first year when we were at the dorms, but over the past few months, like we found a lot of other Persians, and we're like, okay, let's make a club, and we just get together, we drink tea, we just it's just fun to speak Farsi, I guess. We all kind of miss home, all of us. So it's just nice to have a group to get together and drink tea, make Persian food, have Persian cookies, all of that.
And that's amazing. That's amazing. I think it will be very interesting for our audience to, just briefly, you would tell me a story about Charsham Bashti, which is a Persian tradition that you were trying to do in your school. Just briefly, let's
Mhm.
talk about it. Tell us what happened. You're trying to, you know, do this
Mhm.
ceremony at your school.
Yeah, so there was a PSA before a very long time ago at University of Oregon, but I guess everyone graduated, so they kind of got rid of it. But I don't think they did Charsham Bashti before. So we went to U of O because we had to have their permission to set something on fire, obviously. So we went to them and we were like, okay, we have an event idea. This is a cultural event. It'll be somewhat like a performance, I guess, from the PSA people. And their literal response was, as long as you don't set anything on fire, it's all going to be okay. And then there was a few minutes of awkward silence, and we're like, that's kind of what we're trying to do. And so that's the start of like a 1 month, 1 month long meetings after meetings of trying to talk to them. We're like, no, this is an actual event that happens. We do this every year. We all do this from a very young age. We don't jump into the fire. So it
It's a
was definitely
tradition,
challenging. Yeah.
right? Yeah, it takes. I think it was it challenging to explain to them that this is a tradition in the Persian culture.
hmm I think they just didn't believe that there was a tradition like that. It's not, I mean, in Eugene, there's not a lot of, I mean, in Portland, for example, there's Portland, I think Portland State every year has a Charsham Bashti event, but in Eugene, we don't have a lot of Persians to have big Charsham Bashti events citywide. So we were just
I
trying
see.
to recreate that, but it was just kind of hard for them. So we had to go around, ask Persian faculty members for their signature to just say, yeah, this is a real event that we have every year. They're not making this up. This is completely true. So it was just a little bit of I guess it was a little bit of work trying to prove to them that this is an actual thing that we do.
I think this will teach you a life skill of basic negotiating with others in
Exactly.
terms of trying to, convince them to accept your proposal. It's
Exactly.
wonderful. So, Donna, let's move on to the next subject, and which that is coping with this quarantine situation. So this pandemic has caused a lot of individuals, including especially students, to be depressed, have lots of stress, don't know what to do because of the uncertainties and a lot of other things. From your perspective, first share with us how did you try to cope with this quarantine, or what did you do to excuse me, what did you do to keep yourself busy?
What I did, I basically I realized that I can't really go out, I can't travel, so I decided to just double down on my courses to be done with my requirements so that next summer, when hopefully everything is turned back into normal and I can go out, I can go travel around, go have fun and stuff like that. So for me, what made sense was to just double down on my courses. But again, like every student is unique, so I don't think that would work for everyone, I guess. But overall, uh, the one thing that I will like, the one thing that will affect everyone, I guess, is um, these are uncertain times for all of us. These are challenging times for all of us, and I guess it's more important to take care of yourself than it is to uh, focus on your studies. So just take care of yourself. Take some time to take care of yourself. These are hard times for all of us, so you're not alone, and we're just trying to get through all of this.
So exactly, as you were saying, self-care is very important and is essential for everyone, for our physical well-being and mental well-being. That was a very good point that you mentioned. And now, I would like to conclude this interview and ask what's next for Donna Hooshmand.
Uh, well, I'm gonna go to grad school for sure. I'm gonna pursue becoming a professor and getting my PhD. I think I'm gonna apply for some internships next summer because I haven't been to the private sector, sorry. So I don't really know how it's like working for companies. I do know what it's like teaching and stuff like that. So I guess I'm just gonna apply for an internship, work for a company for a little bit, and compare and contrast to see which one I would like to pursue more. But definitely grad school and definitely a PhD.
Well, I wish you the best, and I would like to thank you again for taking time out of your day to come and speak with us. And I would like to thank our audience for supporting us, watching this episode, and following us. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Instagram, and share this video with your friends. Donna John, thank you so much for being our guest. Take
Thank you
care
so much for letting me share my story.
and have a great day. Thank you. That was my pleasure. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.